Welcome, welcome. I've got my fat vest on tonight. Anyway, there is a stunning young man across the street. Eyes on you, my eyes on you. Oh my God, I'm getting distracted, guys. Welcome. Oh my God, TGIF. We did it. Congratulations. You did it. I did it. We did it. Welcome, family. If there's any new people, make sure to welcome them in the chat. Let them feel welcome. You know, we're all a big, happy family here for the most part. Anyway, guys, we're going to be talking about this newly leaked evidence, and I'm just going to do a fairly quick summary regarding the hearing. A lot of you guys asked me, you were disappointed that I didn't cover that yesterday, but there was no time. So today I'm going to summarize that for you because it was a very long hearing. It was like 3 hours. I watched it ×2 speed, and Judge Hippler is forking. I said forking. Okay, like a fork. Forking pissed. Judge Hippler is pissed. He's literally threatening law enforcement and the state to basically be investigated and be prosecuted. What is going on? Again, there's a lot. There's a lot. So set your emotions aside. That way you can watch this video and listen to it, take the information in, and be critical. When you're not doing that, when you're being too emotional, you are unable to think critically. Okay, so set your emotion aside, babe. I never thought I would actually be sitting up here talking to 10,000 plus people about Judge Hippler actually trying to hold the state accountable, trying to hold law enforcement and the prosecution accountable, because as I've said in the past, guys, Judge Hippler, in his past cases involving law enforcement, he has sided with corrupt officers. He has sided with corrupt cops, and I thought he was not going to have a backbone, right? So Judge Hippler is talking about leaks and holding people accountable for this leak. And at the beginning of the hearing, we were kind of all wondering, does this have anything to do with this Dateline episode, which, by the way, I covered several days ago. I will try to pin it in the comments for you guys if you have not watched that. But Hippler is writing an order to the state, but also extending it to the defense. Pay attention to that, because he's writing the order to the state and then kind of saying, well, it also is for the defense, but he didn't originally write it for the defense. He's focusing on the state, and that is just making me wonder, did the state or did cops leak this, right? And we'll get to the legal document, right? Judge Hippler mentioned that he's going to be asking for a special prosecutor who has the power to basically subpoena witnesses under oath, okay? Hippler is pissed. And this special prosecutor is basically somebody who is not currently involved in this case, and they're coming in and they are investigating and potentially even charging somebody who is responsible for leaking this information that we all saw in that Dateline episode, right? I want to know who the actual F violated this non-dissemination order. If you guys are in here, if you think it was the cops, leave a 1. If you think it was the state, leave a 2. And if you think it was another person, leave a 3, right? Let's refer to the documents, because I think you guys are going to be shocked if you have not heard about this yet. He's pretty blunt in these documents. Okay, so this will be brief in this document. It's a 3-page document, but it's called the Document and Record Hold Order, and it was just dropped today. And it says, based on sensitive information not previously publicly circulated that was reported during a recent Dateline TV program related to this case. And like I mentioned in that Dateline live stream that we did, they were saying a lot of things, and I'm like, is it rumors? Is it real? Is it what? Now, apparently now we know that it's sensitive information regarding the case. It appears likely that someone currently or formerly associated with law enforcement. Wake up, people. Remember when y'all talked shit about us here at nikasneuronuggets and the family, and y'all said that we were insane, that we were cuckoo, that we were mentally ill because we thought that the cops could be involved in one way or another, indirectly or directly. And now we have a legal document saying that this appears to be a leak associated with law enforcement or the prosecution team violated the court's non-dissemination order. Such violations not only undermine the rule of law, potentially by persons charged with upholding it. Again, I've been saying this from the beginning of time, guys. The law, meaning cops, meaning the prosecution, meaning everybody involved in this case, is literally supposed to uphold the law. When we don't have cops doing their job in a legal fashion, we're not going to stick up for them, right? We're going to hold them accountable. And you guys know, a lot of us here, myself included, are military or prior military members. And we're a little bit anal about rules and regulations and, constitutional fucking rights. Such violations not only undermine the rule of law, potentially by persons charged with upholding it, but also impede the ability to seat an impartial jury and will likely substantially increase the cost to be borne by the taxpayers of Latah County to prosecute this case by extending the time it will take to seat a jury and potentially requiring a lengthy period of juror sequestration. And again, for the guilters who are saying, oh my God, Ann Taylor keeps postponing things because she's trying to buy time to free Brian Kohlberger because she has a crush on him. No, according to Judge Hippler, you heard it through this legal document and record hold order. Who is effing this case up? Who is extending this case? If not anyone but the state or law enforcement. They're the ones costing you guys money. By you guys, I mean, people in Latah County, the taxpayers of Latah County, because that means more money, more time, more everything is going to have to go into this case. Millions, allegedly, have already gone into this case. By the way, of course, everything in every single video that I upload is my opinion, my theory, my conclusions. So, but also, it's literally in the legal document. Babe, wake up. Accordingly, the court finds it imperative to attempt to see that the source of such leak is identified and held to account, and that doing so is the best deterrent to future violations. Yes, Judge Hippler, go Judge Hippler. Put that rope to use, right? Because, I kind of talked a lot of smack, not just for fun, but again, because of his previous behavior in other court cases where he was siding with corrupt cops. I'm glad that he's, giving the robe a good name, that he's actually putting it to use. So, accordingly, the courts find it appropriate to exercise its discretion by entering this order. It is hereby ordered that all persons who at any time, past or present, worked directly or indirectly by employment, contract, consultation, or otherwise on behalf of any law enforcement or prosecution, again, for the guilters at no mention of the defense. Babe, wake up. He's calling out the prosecution. He's calling out law enforcement, saying that anybody that has engaged in part of this investigation, that has worked with law enforcement or prosecution, they're all going to be investigated, babe, about effing time. We've been screaming from the rooftop for Judge Hippler to do this. We knew that there was something amiss, and now we know what it is. Of persons for the murders that are subject of the instant case and are hereby prohibited from deleting discarding, overriding, destroying, altering, or otherwise making unavailable any, whether electronic or immaterial form, records, files, documents, metadata, messages, emails, text messages, direct or private messages, phone logs, or logs of communication, regardless of whether made or kept on a work-owned or personal account, device, or messaging app. Again, he's saying nobody should be deleting things, everything should be kept. And again, we've all seen Officer Mowry, Officer Payne sweating their nads off when they were questioned by Ann Taylor, because we don't know, we don't have it, we deleted it, it didn't save, blah, 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 a bunch of yapping. Here, he is being extremely detailed. Hippler is being very detailed in this order, saying, yeah, you're prohibited from deleting anything having to do with any of this case. It doesn't matter if it's in a private message, in a private phone, whatever. You do not delete anything. And by the way, for those of you who are guilters, or maybe you just have some questions, just so you are aware, the messages that were released regarding the 911 call are not the complete messages. So just wait, because I'm sure that's coming too, right? And including representatives, okay, sorry, I skipped a line here, that in any way relate to or document the fact or substance of communications with third persons, including representatives of the media, aka the Dateline episode we talked about a few days ago, or other persons or entities outside of law enforcement, which communications in any way relate to, refer to, or concern the investigation of Bryan Kohberger, the facts or allegations uncovered or reported to law enforcement concerning Bryan Kohberger, or the investigation into the homicides that are the subject of the current and then potential criminal prosecution of Bryan Kohberger. All such documents or materials or records that could potentially constitute a document, even if it's uncertain whether such meet that criteria, shall be preserved and must be protected from deletion, babe. Hi, Ruler 88. Alteration or loss until further act of the court. Any feature of any device or account that is set to automatically delete or overwrite information that could be covered by this order must immediately be disabled. This is fucking hilarious to me. Excuse my français, monsieur. But it's funny. It's ironic. It's not funny. It's ironic that he's covering this. And it's so good because I think it's Hippler's way of covering his rear end. Again, when Mowry was questioned in the past, when Payne when they were both questioned in the past, what did they say? Well, we kind of have like an outdated software and it like kind of overrode itself. Here, Hippler's saying, yeah, if you have any software that does any of that, you need to disable it because I'm not buying your bullshit anymore. Okay? It is further ordered that within, it said 14 days, but then he crossed it out and put 7. The state shall submit to the court in camera, ooh, baby, in camera, that's what I'm talking about, a list of all individuals within law enforcement and prosecuting agencies. I wonder if Eric Gower's wife is going to be there. Past or present, who are known to have had any access to any facts related to the investigation of the defendant, including but not limited to surveillance videos of suspect vehicle 1, the AT&T records for the defendant's cell phone, and the content of the defendant's cell phone and other electronic devices and social media accounts, including internet search history, photographs, and information associated with the defendant's Amazon account, or any information referenced in the above mentioned Dateline episode regarding this case. The state is further required to provide a copy of this order to all such individuals and documents that it has done so. Failure to comply with this order may be a basis for finding of contempt of court and such other civil and criminal consequences as may be appropriate. Basically, what are they saying? They're saying, stop effing around. We're going to investigate. We're bringing in this special prosecutor, an external prosecutor that is not involved in this case. Everybody and their mama that worked with law enforcement and with the state is going to be investigated. Not only that, but they're asking the state, you have 7 days. You need to hurry and you need to present me everything in camera, which is amazing. Because then we don't have the whole documents getting lost issue, right? Within the 7 days, the state must also provide to the court a written plan designed to address and prevent the future unauthorized disclosure of information related to this case and what it has done or proposes to do to identify any violations of the court's non-dissemination orders previously entered in this case and those responsible for such violations. Amazing. I sometimes get down, right? Because you guys know I'm very anal, especially as a previous military member. It's like, I'm a big fan of our constitutional rights and our right to a fair trial. That right extends to everybody, whether you think Mr. Koberger is guilty or not. And it was kind of pissing me off. It was kind of probably pissing a lot of us off. When we turn on our TV, we go and watch this mediocre Dateline episode where people are yapping out their rear end nonstop. And we're like, what is going on? How are they legally allowed to do this? Turns out they are not, right? We already knew that. We, me, you guys, the ones who have neurons left, we already knew that. But it's nice to see it in writing, and it's nice to see it coming from Judge Hippler, right? So it's just so sad that Dateline would have requested or like received or created some sort of document before the trial that could cause any potential problems with this case before the trial, right? And what for? Literally for ratings and probably financial gain for Dateline, right? And shame on the person that leaked the information. Interesting to me is that only law enforcement and the prosecutor's office were mentioned in this possible leak. Only the state and only law enforcement. So who done it? So they must have an idea who the leak was from, right? My first impression was that the defendant's legal team would benefit more from potentially tainting the jury pool. But again, when we read this legal document, sounds like it was a state, sounds like it was law enforcement, right? This judge's order, it indicates that they have a good idea where the leak is coming from. And as I've mentioned before, I'm a big believer that the truth always comes out. Yes, sometimes it comes way too late, but again, if Judge Hippler is saying we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, we're going to be investigating, that's great. But it's not a good look for the state, and it's a horrible look for law enforcement. Like, these are the people that are supposed to uphold the law. They're not doing it, right? And it also explains why both Thompson and Jennings in this 3-hour hearing, they were just looking really, really awkward during the hearing. They looked to me like a married couple that just had like this massive fallout. It was weird. It was really, really weird. I mean, is it a shock? Is it a shock that there was a possible illegal leak from the prosecution to skew the narrative? I'm not shocked whatsoever. Again, we here in the Neuro Nugget family, we've already had a feeling that there's something amiss with the state or law enforcement or both, right? So I just pray that Hippler holds firm to his threats, that he's not just all talk. And yes, it's something that we all want to hear. Who doesn't want a good leak, right? Wrong, right? We all want to have as much information as possible on the case before the trial. Of course, it's human nature. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that every single defendant has the right to a fair trial. So yes, we should be glad that the judge is following through, right? It's just insane to me because media coverage of all these big cases, it's just become like a massive circus, right? And the odds of anybody getting some sort of fair trial is slipping away. Like the IDAHO4, the Delphi case, so many others, right? It's kind of the fair trial thing seems like it's slipping away every time. It's a freaking circus, right? And there's also a fine line between the public's right to know and a defendant's right to a fair and to an unbiased trial. So we have to make sure that we're not just letting our rights slip away, right? I think somebody's going to be in trouble here. This is really, really bad, especially so close to the trial. In the words of Judge Hippler, this is just going to potentially extend the trial. And honestly, even if the state and even if law enforcement just really wants to get Brian Koberger in jail, like they just want to pin it on him, they need somebody in jail. This is just, you're just fucking it up, bro. Because again, even if Mr. Koberger somehow was involved or is connected to the IDAHO4, you're fucking it up. It's almost as if they want him to go free, right? Because you wouldn't be leaking information. You wouldn't be risking it. And again, if you have this case, if it's, you have the right guy, you're so sure that you have all the information, all the DNA, all the data, if supposedly you're 1,000% sure that this case is basically closed, it's over, it's done, then why do you feel the need as the state or as maybe law enforcement to go and do stupid, idiotic things like share a leak with the world through a Dateline episode, right? Unless you actually don't have your shit together and you're getting a little bit concerned that trial is right around the corner and you don't have your shit together. So let's do a leak and it'll make Mr. Brian Koberger look more guilty. When in reality, you're just kind of fucking yourself over, really. Why would somebody risk leaking this information? The judge was not happy. He looked pissed. And I think that whomever broke the order and the media outlet as well, they need to be held accountable for all of this, okay? This is risking the entire case. Whoever did this was very selfish and didn't care for anybody. They definitely did not care for the victims, right? Again, the only reason that a lot of us crime sleuths or whatever you want to call us, the only reason we're here is because we noticed something in this case or other cases that feels off. We can sense it. We have not only just like physically sense it, we know shit's effed up when we're going through the legal documents. And we are here to get justice for the victims and everybody involved in this case. Whoever did this leak was selfish, did not care for the victims, because this is the way to throw the case like completely out, have it thrown out potentially, right? So I'm just trying to pull up the chat here so I could chat with you guys before I leave. How are you guys doing today? It's Friday. Did you guys watch this 3-hour court hearing? And if so, what do you think about this? Let me know in the chat if you are part of the replay crew, if you missed the first, how long have we been on here? 25 minutes already. We're basically talking about this leaked evidence and how Judge Hippler is threatening law enforcement and the prosecution to be basically jailed, potentially, right? To be held accountable for their actions. Hello, Big Mike. Hello, Angel. I'm starting to like this judge because he's no nonsense. I don't know yet, because again, anyone can kind of put things in writing. You have to follow through. You have to follow through. So we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled to see if he actually follows through. Again, in previous cases where he has sided with corrupt police officers, that doesn't make me too thrilled. But at the end of the day, at the very least, he is putting this in writing. At the very least, he is bringing out an external prosecutor to investigate this whole leak, right? Official says, that person got paid off, babe. Can we foresee a Papa Rogers revelation near future? Demon Dog. SG most likely with his track record, also possible. Big Mike, 2 and 3. I'm thinking FBI actually, or maybe Trashley Jennings. Ooh, Trashley Jennings. Or did Gonzo, says Big Mike. Hot Pie Gravy says, who would have thought, huh? Hello, Mr. Hi-Fi. Getting closer to live broadcast at the start. Hello, Jason. Hello, William. Who coughed up the Brian selfie and who validated the timestamp? The selfie looks like it could have been taken a few days ago. It looks like it was Photoshopped to me or AI or something. It looks crazy. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Big Mike says, Trashley was sitting at the end of bench like a scolded kid yesterday, right? It just got like, I personally got this vibe, like I said earlier, that like her and Thompson are this married couple that just fell out. It was so awkward. And I could sense that awkwardness and you could tell that they had gotten in trouble. And again, Judge Hippler did extend this order. It's like the same exact document to the defense as well, right? So he's basically covering his behind again. He's saying, look, this is specifically for the prosecutors and for law enforcement, but also defense, here you go, bitch. You also get a copy because I don't want to hear it from either party, basically, right? Leah says, you know how those cops are. Yes, exactly. But people don't like when we talk about that, right? I always get some beta, like overly emotional, underly critical person who's like, all cops are great and most cops are good. Okay, yeah, but the bad ones make everybody else look like trash. This is why you have to pick out the bad apples. You got to pick them up, throw them into the fire pit and burn them and use pesticides. Because guess what? When you have one toxic, one evil, one corrupt, right? We won't use moral terms. We'll try not to, but really, if you're a corrupt cop, you're kind of pretty evil, right? All it takes is one to start rotting the rest of the people out because they're like, well, if he can get away with it, then I can get away with it too. So yeah, we definitely know how those cops are. Again, I have law enforcement in my family as well. It doesn't matter. This is not about all cops being bad. It's the fact that we have to hold them accountable. We have to talk about the bad ones more than we do the good ones, right? Because again, these people are supposed to uphold the law, take care of the citizens, take care of the locals. We as citizens are supposed to be able to trust law enforcement. And when they are fucking up time after time and doing things illegally and maybe even being involved in leaking information and fucking this entire case up, yeah, we're gonna call them out. I keep getting some dude who's like, well, my son is a cop. I don't care. Good, great. That's great. And if he's a good cop, good. But it's like for me in the medical field, right? A little example. I'm a scientist, right? And all of us scientists in my research laboratory, we all do similar things. Do you think we get applauded every day? No, we don't, and we don't expect that. But when we have a scientist effing up something massive, guess what? We're going to call them out. We're going to hold them accountable. And yes, some of them have even ended up in jail. We have to hold people accountable to higher standards, okay? It's literally your job to uphold the law. Official says your weight best. My sister ordered 2 of them for us. Should make an Amazon list or something. I don't even, yeah, I think I ordered this on Amazon. Was it Amazon? I think so. But somebody gave me the money because they said I was fat and that I should wear it. And I only wear it like when I'm making videos. So, I mean, I think it's 15 pounds. It's pretty heavy. Hot Pie Gravy says, you're just going to have to trust us. Moscow Ellie, exactly. And the whole house was thrown away, says Susan. Yep. The chain of custody was broken in the middle. Someone made big money from Dateline. I agree, El Bariqua says. Jason, I really think Officer Payne leaked this to Dateline. Oh, leaked this to Dateline? But he's gone now because he resigned from his job. Did he really? Of course he did. Of course he did. A lot of people that were involved in this case in the very early days seemed that they just kind of left, right? Once Moscow named a new police chief, he put in as 2-week resume vacation. Hello, Convict Thoughts with AR Hayes. What's up, brother? Hope you're doing good. We need to do a thing together one day here on the YouTubes and talk about the Bryans and the states and the cops. Big Mike, Tornado Watch. Tornado Watch. Stay safe, Big Mike. Susan says it's totally BS. They put out info, true or false, before the trial. And they've been doing this since the beginning. So I'm not sure why. Why till now? It's literally going on 3 years, bro. It took this long for Judge Hippler to do something. Susan says, just like BK was arrested without cameras, right? We don't even have the Patriot cam. If they're going to front that at court, someone's in trouble. Elizabeth says, about time, Judge Hipster. Where were you when we were screaming our lungs out? Better late than never, I guess. He's not a fair judge. I guess we shall see, right? Hot Pie Gravy says the judge is just puffing his chest out. Nothing will come of it. We know what side he's on. I agree. I agree. That's why I'm saying I'm not, and neither should you. I don't think any of us should really get our hopes up or expect something massive from Judge Hippler because, again, he has sided with corrupt cops in the past. Anyone can write up a freaking order, but are you going to actually follow through? Are you going to have a backbone? Are you actually going to hold the state or law enforcement accountable? I don't know. Guess we'll see. Guess we'll see. Hello, Scott Perkins. Tallulah says, note to self, never go to Idaho. William says, Hippler climbed down the ivory tower and realized that this case is royal foobar. I think so too, right? And what did he say in the very beginning? Why start with an untruth? I'm not happy to see you. I mean, he's probably definitely not happy now. Definitely not, right? Hello, Theodore. Scott says, sorry, after gold, this judge is a breath of fresh air. Miss Tree, hip hip hooray. High Strength says, because that uniform already gives them power. Exactly. And psychological studies have been done on people who wear uniforms, right? They tend to attract people who are psychopathic or score high in psychopathic traits. And Stanford prison experiment, for those of you who like psychology, you know, look into that. I think there's even a Netflix documentary now, Stanford prison experiment, basically where uniformed people took advantage of people who were not uniformed. They made a fake study. They gave half the people uniforms. They're like, you're going to pretend to be a cop and you're going to pretend to be in jail. And guess what happened? The people that were pretending to be cops did horrible things to the people that were pretending to be in jail. It's crazy. It's crazy what people will do and what people will allow other people to do to them because they see somebody wearing a fucking badge. Don't be one of those people, please. Learn from history, learn from science, learn from previous psychological experiments. Don't trust people just because they have a badge or a white coat. Or because they're carrying a fucking GUN, you know? Question people. So let me know, what did you think about this video? It's crazy. What did you think about this document that's literally telling us that it was probably the state or law enforcement that is about to throw this case down the damn toilet because they're the ones leaking information. I don't know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me. Oh, it's Friday. I'm going to go to my other job, and then tomorrow I might take you guys out for a jog in the beach because I'm trying to get tan, actually. Trying to get tan. Trying to get some color. So, see you guys soon. Take care. And I'm not going to promise anything, but maybe, just maybe, I will see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.